This is the Solid Signal podcast for the week of June 15th, 2015. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little worn out from having binge-watched Orange is the New Black all weekend. My guess is that malls and theme parks and other places that normally attract large crowds were somewhat lacking this past weekend because everybody I know was binge-watching Orange is the New Black, which is a whole different phenomenon and a whole different way of telling stories, which is something we could have never done just a few years ago, and it is very interesting to me, but not really the topic of today's podcast. Today's podcast is going to be actually about the opposite, which is about traveling and what you do when you get to a hotel room. You might have heard me talking about the DirecTV residential experience in the past, and you might have asked yourselves, what is the DirecTV residential experience? Because it does sound like a fancy name. And it's nothing more than you get the same DirecTV programming in your hotel room that you get at home. Simple as that. The same receiver is used, a remote that looks the same is used. It's just like being at home. In fact, some hotels even have implemented DVRs in rooms so you can pause live programming and record stuff while you're out playing in the area of the hotel, which is kind of neat if you think about it. I got to admit, I don't understand why DirecTV residential experience hasn't taken off like gangbusters. I understand a little bit because it can be a bit expensive to implement, and even though there are financing programs available, it does cost a lot. It costs more than an equivalent modulator system. Of course, you're getting about 10 times the channels if you really want to subscribe to all the packages that DirecTV is putting out there for a reasonable price. And so, there's value there. But the feeling in hotels is still, well, people don't go to hotels to watch television. Well, of course that's true, but when you really sit down and think about your own travel experiences. You don't leave any of the comforts of home at home. You bring a tablet or possibly a laptop or possibly both, and you're certainly bringing a phone. You don't go to a hotel to disconnect. You just go to a hotel to connect differently. I'll tell you what I do when I go to a hotel is I look to see if there's the DirecTV residential experience, and if not, if there's a fairly decent high-definition modulated system. If there isn't, well, then I hope the hotel's got good internet, because at that point I'm going to be trying to stream something from Netflix or from my Genie Go box at home or something like that. I just, I don't have the patience to look at ugly, muddy, snowy-looking, standard-definition modulated garbage that looks like a television from 20 years ago. I go to a high-end hotel, I expect a high-end experience everywhere. I do know that DirecTV is leaning hard on hotels that are currently using the LodgeNet system. You might have remembered that LodgeNet ceased operations themselves, and that DirecTV has been managing that system for them for a couple of years, actually. And the goal is to try to move everybody over to DirecTV residential experience instead of LodgeNet. The holdup's been the implementation of pay-per-view, which is coming later this year finally to the DirecTV residential experience. It's just that I don't think people are happy with 15 channels even if they're in a hotel. Even if they're doing something else, they're going to settle in for the evening and they're going to want to watch TV. And they're not going to watch linear TV at 14 channels like they did 30 years ago. They're going to want a lot of selection. They're going to want fast internet as well so that they can choose whatever it is that they want. But a good backbone, a solid selection of decent live TV channels is going to be a real benefit in a hotel room. And that's something that I hope that more hotel owners understand. Because I think back to my own childhood many, many, many years ago, when you'd actually go to a hotel and get a better TV experience there than you would get in your home. Perhaps there were more channels. Way back when, it's where you went to see color television, and hotels would actually advertise that they had color televisions, which was a huge jump from what you maybe had at home. Today, the hotel experience is sadly lacking when it comes to television, so my hope is that that'll change soon. Have a great week.